Asiedu-Dartey. Here are the headlines for the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Premix and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Tonight, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, warns of dire consequences from encroachment on airport lands.
Simmering tension between Asante Hene and Doma Hene will resolve by itself. We will tell you more on what Chieftaincy Minister has been saying.
And later in the bulletin, Emmanuel Samani sheds light on health risks associated with recreational use of nitrous oxide, commonly known as laughing gas.
On the international front, former South African President Jacob Zuma says he will not vote for the ruling African National Congress, ANC, next year.
We are live around the world on 3news.com. That's our website, and also streaming on Facebook. And if you're watching us on DSTV, this is channel 279.
The news now in detail, and the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, says government is open to public input aimed at improving the lithium exploitation deal between Ghana and Barari DV Ghana Limited. The agreement, when ratified by Parliament, is expected to bring some appreciable level of development to Ewoya in the central region. George Quenin was in Ewoya and reports that chiefs and indigents want swift approval of the agreement.
The conversation on Ghana's discovery of lithium continues unabated, and that has projected the image of Ewoya in the central region, where the mining is expected to take place over the next 15 years if it's ratified by Parliament. And that is going to take place on a total land area of 2,012 hectares. As you're aware, the government of Ghana has granted a mining license to Atlantic Lithium as a West African nation positions itself to tap into the multi-billion-dollar global industry. Well, the 15-year lease agreement will grant exclusive right to the company to work and produce lithium and associated minerals in the area. Ewoya is a town part of Infantiman, and the mainstay here is farming. Population is close to 500, and most of the challenges here is they have bad roads, and job creation for the youth is also minimal here. And so, with this very agreement that is expected to bring some sort of development here, the chief, who is Nana Imbronu Edu the 9th, can't wait to have this very agreement approved by Parliament.
Abaye royalties 10%.
1% in royalties allocated for the chiefs is inadequate. We are asking for an upward adjustment to either 5%, 4%, or even 3%. Also, we want government to create a consolidated fund that only the chiefs and the company will manage.
We also sought some concerns from stakeholders, including opinion leaders and the Queen Mother of Ewoya.
I plead with government to ensure that what is our share is given to us to drive development in the area and generate employment among our youth.
We agree for mining to be done here. We see a lot of vehicles coming here, and we believe that this is the beginning of development.
I don't think that our boss in Takwan, the same thing will happen here.
I don't think what happened in Takwa and Obuasi will happen here, considering details of the contract signed between the government and the company.
Township.
Member of Parliament for Infantiman constituency, Ophelia Mensah Hayford, believes this is a good deal because looking at past experiences, Ghana has learned a lot.
We can talk about Obuasi, what is happening there, our river bodies, the distractions that we've caused to ourselves. I think we, the generation of now, we've learned a lot. And so I don't think that government and whoever will sit for us to continue with whatever is happening in there, at least for the sake of development and for the sake of the generation to come. we'll do something extra, something beneficial.
Should this very agreement be ratified by a parliament, Atlantic Lithium will be producing close to 300,000 tons of this very metal annually, and that is expected to bring some appreciable level of development at Eweya. Well, we're just waiting for that very agreement to be ratified. We'll still be following up closely, keeping a tap on that, and update you subsequently in our bulletins. Josh Crane in TV3 News, Eweya.
All right, still talking about issues regarding lands. Encroachment on airport lands is interfering with flight signals during landing, a situation that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, fears will have dire consequences on the country's aviation industry. The manager in charge of safety standards and quality assurance at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Wilberforce William Amwako, has therefore cautioned the public against encroaching on lands belonging to the authority.
There is massive infrastructure development along the airport Spintex Road all the way to the Flower Port area. High-rising buildings and billboards are common on the stretch. Much closer to the airport runway, some squatters have turned parts of the land into refuse dump. This is the situation at night along the Spintex stretch. There are billboards with high lighting, nightclubs and drinking spots with neon lights scattered along the way. But do the owners know the dangers that flashing highlights and encroaching on lands around the airport pose to flight operations, especially flying and landing at the airport? The manager in charge of safety standards and quality assurance at the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, William Wilberforce Amwako, warns the encroachment to stop immediately.
Once you build high-rise buildings around it, the transmission, the signals are blocked, and pilots are not able to receive the correct signals, and it can be very dangerous. We have regulations. Everybody who needs to build, those will have to seek approval from civil aviation, but in most situations they don't. Even some don't even seek the necessary approval from the necessary permits from the main environment and the rest. How much more civil aviation? So it's causing a lot of problems with buildings around our facilities.
He added, some pilots have complained of difficulties in getting signals when landing.
The encroachment has been so massive, and it affects our communication systems. We're trying to have a series of backups. We're trying to have alternatives, which may not, but it's not been easy. So for now, we are still grappling with those encroachments, which poses a safety risk to flying.
The Municipal Chief Executive of the Lejikuku Municipal Assembly, Lekma, Mordecai Kwashi, said the Assembly is not relenting in its efforts to safeguard the airport area.
On that road, there are shows. There are big spaces where they do live shows at night. And they use these lights, they call them talking head or something, that point at the sky, and they do this waving sign in the sky, and that distracts aircraft. They are not supposed to do that. So we've even stopped the use of that. All those areas, we warned them that if they use that, we will ban them from operating. So they stopped using. The next thing is garbage. What happens with garbage is that birds feed on the garbage, and then they rise into the sky, and they cause the danger to the aircraft. When they enter the engine and so on, they can actually jam the aircraft engine.
He assured no more permits will be given for the construction of rising buildings along the airport Spintex stretch.
We are not permitting any more structures, high-rise structures, in the flight path in Lejikuku municipality. So that is what we have done so far to ensure that the flight path remains free of nuisances and that the aircraft remain protected from unnecessary hazards.
Joseph Armstrong, Good TV3, Accra.
In more news tonight, the Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng says the simmering tension between the Asante-Hene and Doma-Hene will resolve by itself despite efforts by the National House of Chiefs to intervene in the matter. According to him, the decision to stop the Domahene from attending the recent funeral of the Brekumhene was crucial in helping to prevent possible breach of public peace. The minister has been speaking to measures taken to resolve outstanding chieftaincy conflicts in the country.
The Asantehene Otumfo Oseitutu II and the Domahene Osajifo Osiadio Ajumanbedu II have recently been engaging in exchanges over chieftaincy supremacy. Both leaders on different occasions accused each other of distorting historical fact, with the mention of the Asantehene in the Chieftaincy Act being one of the concerns for the Domahene. But that would not end it. The Sunyani High Court restrained the Domahene from attending the funeral of the late Brekumhene to avoid a possible clash between his subject and that of the Asantehene.
I picked a signal that the program was in danger of a clash between the Domahene and the Asantehene. And so I did what I'm supposed to do, talk to both and find out what's going on. The program was such that the regional House of Chiefs and their presidents were meant to be there on the Wednesday. And the Thursday was dedicated to Otumfo, the Asantehene. But I picked a signal that the Domahene wanted to go on the Thursday. So I called him and I pleaded with him that, look at the program, you're meant to be there on the Wednesday. He had a reason for saying that it was the Wednesday he couldn't attend the funeral because it's Dabone. But I also advised that with the numbers he was going to come with, even if the Thursday was possible, which it wasn't, and the numbers that was also coming from Otumfo, it would be a clash.
Amid the simmering tension between the two leaders, the chieftaincy minister says there is a need for further engagement with the chiefs. He, however, believes the feud between them will resolve by itself, although there are historical facts to it. The existence of chieftaincy dispute in the country has caused mayhem in communities, damaged properties, and in extreme cases, loss of lives. Stephen Asamoah-Boateng believes a review of the Chieftaincy Act and documentation of succession plans are some of the ways to resolve the issues.
The Chieftaincy Act has been around for what, 15 years? So obviously there's a need to look at it again. And I have initiated that. So I've already thrown it to the House of Chiefs. Now, if that is an issue and they want to bring it up and look at that particular clause, it's up to them, not me. My job is to guide them. I've set up a committee. We've done the consultation and it's now with the House of Chiefs. My information is that they would get it back to me hopefully by the end of this year.
Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Well, away from traditional politics, let's do mainstream party politics, because the governing New Patriotic Party, the NPP, and the main opposition, National Democratic Congress, are busily organizing their base even before the Christmas break. Both parties are strategically targeting the youth population to target their chances of winning power. William Evans Inkum has filed the following report.
The political cloud is gathering momentum here in the Ashanti region. It's been a busy weekend for some of the political parties. For the NPP, reorganizing its youth base is something that they are not taking kindly, especially with a region which has a huge youth population per the 2021 population and housing census. The regional youth organizer held a mega youth conference. And of course, addressing the gathering, the Minister of Energy, who also doubled as the lawmaker for Mensah South constituency, said the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has nothing new to offer the Ghanaian electorate. Former President John Dramani Mahama has nothing new to offer. He scrapped the nursing allowance. What is he going to say in 2024? We are coming out with the very best of message. In the camp of the NDC, some bigwigs of the party are meeting in the Ashanti region, and the meeting focused on re-strategizing and reorganizing the party's base in the Ashanti region.
Not just NDC members, but those who have previously been voting NPP, who form the majority here, to be able to win more souls for the NDC through this kind of engagements. And if we are able to do that, we are going to increase our percentage.
Remember, going into election 2024, the ruling New Patriotic Party has some 71% of vote share. For the NDC, they appreciated their gains from 23% in 2016 to 26% in 2020. William Evan Simkum, TV3 News.
He's reporting from the Ashanti region. Let's engage Dr. Kwame Asah-Sante, who is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Doc, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Martin, and good evening to your viewers.
To start with, what are your initial thoughts? Now we know, I mean, it's obvious public knowledge that the Ashanti region, predominantly owned by the New Patriotic Party, NDC consistently has made inroads there throughout the last few elections. We know how crucial 2024 is. We're also not forgetting that movement for change is in the mix somewhere there. How is this, on the face of it, going to play out in 2024?
Martin, I must say that it's going to be an interesting encounter. You are Alan Chamathing, leading the movement for change, who is a giant in the Ashanti region, if I may put it that way. And then MPP, Ashanti region being the home ground for NPP, and NDC also have been doing very well from time to time. Is going to be interesting. Interesting in the sense that if you look at the MPP records from 1992, let's say 96, you realize that once they hit 70% and beyond, they are winning the election. And if you also the converse is also true when you look at the NDC performance. As soon as they get between 27–30%, they are also winning the election. Now that you have Alan Chamathing coming in, there is absolutely no doubt that some of the MPP votes is going to dwindle along the line. There's no doubt about that. And that will make it more interesting in Ashanti region because Alan's support is basically the MPP support. He's going to take some of the votes away. There's no doubt about that. And NDC, if they are able to put their acts together, then they also will be able to cash in on that, drama that will unfold between the NPP and then movement for change. It's going to be super, super interesting.
Right. So what would do the trick for either of the three? Would it be messaging or probably like, unfortunately, we've seen given incentives and inducements, which would be the better option for the three parties or movement in this instance to take advantage of the numbers in the Ashanti region?
Obviously, NDC need a very good message, even though I concede that in Ashanti region, Santiam voter, their voting psychology is that they know what they want. So at each point in time, you are able to sway very little people. But that notwithstanding, I believe that the NDC must have a message that will be able to get those who sit on the fringes. And also they need message that is also resonate with the people. And above all, they need a strategy that will be able to ginger people to vote for them the way they do. At West, they should be able to maintain their own support base and get a few people who sit on the fringes to come and support them. Then they are home and dry. For the movement for change, they have to do a lot because party systems are very strong in this country. So if you are coming as an independent, or if you like a third force in quote, then you need to put in your all. So that means that Alan should be able to get a lot of votes in Ashanti region, so as to also rake in some from his mother's place, that is Central region. If he's able to do that and get some sizable votes, I have no doubt in my mind that if all things go well, then he can play or push if other parties also perform so well and they get beyond the 4%, they will be able to push this election to a second round. That is where Alan factor becomes so strong. But it depends upon his performance that he put up in Ashanti region. Much is required of him in Ashanti region and Central, and of course, Eastern, where all these places, the MPP have been doing very well. So if you look at him strategically, he is moving to Ashanti, and then I know he will follow up in what? Eastern and Central region, in addition to other places. But for NDC, MPP, all that they need is to be able to ginger their base and make sure that they get the maximum support. If they should, reduce, if their vote reduces in number, I'm afraid, then it's going to be a difficult one for them. But remember, that is their home ground. So they can turn things around. They need to put their house in order to be able to get people who are disenchanted within the party because of so many factors and the fact that the economy is also going against them and all that. They need to work extremely hard.
Right. Prof, Doc, probably you'll be a professor soon. I keep calling you Prof. Finally and briefly, we know that the last population and housing census gave indications of the youth bulge increasing across the country, specifically in the Ashanti region, devoid of political party affiliation and support. Is there a central message you think that would drive the youth population to swing either way?
As for youth, all that they are looking for, first and foremost, is employment, because there are a large number of them who are parading in our street without job, moving from office to office in search for jobs. So the government has to be able to think around the box and then come out with something that will really assuage their pain in terms of what job opportunities. They have had all the rhetorics and in the last election with the hope that they are going to get jobs. It is true that some of them gain jobs, but there are a large army of them who are without jobs. So they need to be able to convince them and convince them well. That's the message. But apart from that, the first and most important message that is in all the regions and all the constituencies is the economic message. Issue of inflation, issue of infrastructure development, issue of the debt that has, ballooned and taking us to this place, and issue of how far we have come in terms of the economic decadence. And in the light of all that Dr. Maubian said, it's a tall order that they need to be able to think outside the box and then create something meaningful. It's a difficult one for them. But hey, political parties have what it takes to be able to turn things around.
Right. Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, thank you so much for your time as always. He's a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana.
Let's now go to the Western region, where an attempt by representatives of the clergy to draw John Mahama's attention to the controversial National Cathedral and push him for possible completion was met with stiff resistance by supporters of the National Democratic Congress, who have vowed never to allow it. But with a candidate who intends to complete abandoned projects and continue with some ongoing infrastructure, will John Mahama dare a project that has become a subject of controversy? A report by Komla Kluchen.
About 700 meters from Ghana's parliament sits one of the world's most controversial craters, a hole surrounded by weeds into which $58 million has already been sunk for the building of a denominational national cathedral. It remains the biggest hole dug in the country's history, a pledge by the president and stalled over controversy unabated. John Mahama walked into the Akuma Hall expectant of frank views. He was hit by a representative of the clergy whose only concern was the stalled, crater-sunk National Cathedral.
Soba, yewo National Cathedral. Bisa oya sembisa yesrawan. Yesrawan. Okay. And
met with stiff resistance. The people want John Mahama to have nothing to do with it. And dismissive of John Mahama, who says his next administration will continue all abandoned projects, had a response.
Cathedral asemo kaino wachro egum. Intimate we obia e kana adwen enti ekwa ya ye betena se ne yi aba ewo mu na ye de aye manifesto no.
John Mahama has retweeted his call for a 24-hour economy, a game changer, he calls it. He's giving out a lot more on this.
And so Nyaiben said we will make sure that government uses its spending power in the economy to boost made in Ghana businesses, so that they also will make money to be able to employ more people.
Formula TV3 News, Anglo Town, Shama.
All right, so let's take a step away from your election command center, because anything political, we've got tabs on it for you, building up into 2024. To some social stories now. The latest trend sweeping through nightclub parties and many thrill seekers is pursuit of a brief euphoric experience. Nitrous oxide, commonly known as laughing gas, has become increasingly popular despite its greater risk compared to tramadol. In this report, Emmanuel Samani sheds light on the serious health risks associated with the recreational use of this substance.
When you think of balloons, you might imagine celebrations or holidays like Christmas. However, their purpose is shifting towards darker uses.
God bless the balloon inventor. Invent more balloons.
Increasingly, balloons are being inflated with nitrous oxide instead of air, commonly known as laughing gas. This gas is now sought after by those chasing a quick high, yet many are unaware of the significant health risk associated with its improper use. A visit to some clubs in Ghana showed the buying and selling of nitrous oxide. But what is laughing gas? Here is Dr. Chris O, an anesthesiologist who sheds light on a dangerous substance. He says it persists for over 120 years and almost 300 times more potent than carbon dioxide.
It is a gas that has some amount of sedation and pain relief effect. In the era where there were not a lot of anesthetic gases, and some of them had also significant side effects on the body, and there were limited painkillers, it had a role in anesthesia. But over the decades, it has become obvious that prolonged exposure or repeated exposures to nitrous oxide can be very harmful.
Anesthesiologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Grace Imelda Bing, highlights the health implications of using laughing gas.
This drug is dangerous. Using nitrous oxide can kill you. It shouldn't be used outside of the hospital. Even in the hospital, its use has been reduced because nitrous oxide affects how you breathe. You cannot breathe in well enough. You cannot get enough oxygen because your breathing levels have been reduced by the drug. Nitrous oxide can affect how your heart works. It can cause your kidneys to fail.
That's not all. The use of laughing gas can result in various neurological problems. Other potential risks include vitamin B12 deficiency, which can lead to anemia and neuropathy, as well as the possibility of developing a substance use disorder.
This drug can affect how your blood works or how it's produced. It reduces your blood levels, and even in people who have especially vitamin B12 deficiency, it can cause severe anemia. This drug is dangerous and must not be used.
You may say that I am just kidding with my friends, I just have it once and then I'm not having it again. But it doesn't work that way. Nitrous oxide have a very strong addictive effect, similar to some of the cannabis that we are struggling to get the youth out of it. So what this means is that even on your first exposure, you are in effect exposing yourself multiple times because you're going to crave to go for it again.
While it might seem like a harmless way to seek thrills, the consequences of inhaling nitrous oxide recreationally can be quite severe. It is crucial for individuals to be fully informed about the substance they are using and the potential long-term impact on their health. The fleeting moment of euphoria is certainly not worth the risk of lasting damage. Remember, if you're seeking fun and excitement, there are many safe and healthy alternatives to consider. It's important to make choices that not only brings joy in the moment, but also contributes positively to your overall well-being in the long run. Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra.
You're still watching News 360. Still to come in the bulletin. At 13 years, Abriana Ablodi wants to become an architect, but she faces a learning difficulty known as dyslexia. Frederick Kunzu-Tiana reports on how Adriana is breathing the odds. Details of that and more right after this. Stay with us.
There is something that drives you. The very thought of it fuels you. And even when the road gets rocky, you keep going. Just to get the results that matter. It could be about you. It could be the lives you touch. It could be about something dear to your heart. Such results leave a sweet lingering smile, a sense of fulfillment. That's why you work till late, yet rise with the sun. Yes, your drive knows no limit. Do it with Stanbic Bank, where we spur you on to get the results that matter.
It's a great evening to get together once again to celebrate the Ghanaian ingenuity and the Ghanaian creativity. Something is about to happen tonight that will change the narrative and the way we define the word L-U-C-K-N-Y.
Right, and tonight we'll be presenting to you a very beautiful opportunity to tell you that wherever you are and no matter what you do, luck can get to you. And so whether you're a doctor, you're a pharmacist, whether you're a mason, whether you're a journalist, regardless of what you do, there's luck coming for you.
Genius Losa and the Luckiest has been launched, and I expect the public to also participate in it and win big.
Star 7 1 2 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
And the overall best student goes to Kwame Boateng.
That's my Get the TV. Surprise!
Wow, TCL C645 QLED TV. Always buy the best from TCL. TCL, inspire greatness.
We watch the Premier League on Super Sport like we are in a stadium.
That was not an offside. Rashford was in an offside position, but he wasn't interfering with play. And Bruno scored.
This Christmas, dear, entertainment galore on DSTV. The contents just go over you. Dial *759# to reconnect or stay connected now.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. At 13 years, Abriana Ablodi wants to become an architect, but she faces a learning difficulty known as dyslexia. Frederick Kunzu-Tiana reports on how she's braving the odds to ensure her dream becomes a reality.
19-year-old Abriana is a creative and imaginative child who aspires to be an architect. However, her journey is hindered by dyslexia, a learning difficulty that primarily affects the skills involved in accurate and fluent word reading. This has made activities such as drawing and painting challenging for her.
I like sewing, I like drawing and painting, and I like doing robotic stuff. Sometimes my mom will be like, why is my sister better than me? I don't know how to spell. My sister can read books, but me, I can't read books.
Abriana, who has struggled with reading and writing since childhood, struggles with decoding words, recognizing sight words, and understanding written text meaning. Her condition has led her to switch schools multiple times due to the inability of teachers and colleagues to understand her.
The school I am, they don't bully me, but my former school, they were like, you can't spell this. How old are you that you can't spell this word, just common word called music? And that was even what the teacher was telling me. That common music, you can't spell it. I was so bad and I had to tell my mother.
Her parents, unaware of her challenge, initially scolded her for her poor school performance. Now, her family is supportive of her.
We tried to give her a better education. She went to a very good school, so we were expecting her to excel, to do better when it comes to her studies. So when she got to grade 4, we had someone teaching her at home, and he said, what this girl is going through is not normal, because we are doing our best. Even as a teacher, I am teaching her simple things that I expect her to know. Unfortunately, she's still not able to catch up.
I didn't know anything about dyslexia until I realized my sister had one of the challenges. But until we realized that was it, I had to go onto the internet to search about what dyslexia means and what other challenges it comes with, the effects and stuff. We don't usually relate with her like her other siblings. We usually have to take our time and then treat her as a special child.
They are now advocates urging parents to accept that children learn differently.
It doesn't mean that your daughter or son has dyslexia if he or she cannot read or write. You have to go and see a clinical psychologist or a neurologist for them to assess the child. Let's show the child so much love. Even if he or she makes mistake, let's correct them with love, and that will help our children.
Even though Ghana does not have enough data on this learning condition called dyslexia, it has been estimated that about 10% of the Ghanaian population may have dyslexia.
In other news tonight, the Techiman Divisional Police in the Bono region has apprehended the driver of a Kumasi-Boku-bound bus with registration number GT 550920 on suspicion of carrying illegal arms. A passenger is said to have raised an alarm regarding a potential weapon on board the bus during the journey on Sunday morning. Prompted by the alert, the police conducted a search of the vehicle, leading to a startling discovery. Concealed within the confines of the passenger bus were 24 boxes containing live ammunition. The driver of the bus claimed that the consignment had been loaded in Kumasi and was intended for delivery in Boko in the Upper East region. The driver was subsequently detained by the police as no passenger claimed ownership of the discovered ammunition. The police, meanwhile, have intensified their investigation into the matter.
In more news tonight, the Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Ministry has rolled out 20 Premix fuel automation systems out of 50 across the country's fishing communities. According to the ministry, the automation is critical in sustaining and making the industry profitable.
The National Premix Secretariat is tasked with the distribution of Premix fuel to fishing communities across the country, but fishermen have constantly complained about poor management within the Premix value chain. Some major concerns have been holding, diversion and smuggling of the commodity. Holding of the fuel aside, creating artificial scarcity also drives up prices. thereby placing unfair burden on fisherfolk. It is against this backdrop that government introduced the automation of Premix fuel distribution.
I believe this project demonstrates that government is really committed to solving the problems of the fisherfolk.
On a tour of some of the centers by the Parliamentary Select Committee on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs, the ranking member urged the Secretariat to ensure constant supply of the Premix fuel.
Even as we speak, there is shortage. The ministry targeted to supply 107 million litres this year. But as at the end of September, they had done just 25 million out of 107 million.
They told Parliament when they approached us with their budget for scrutiny that they have done 50 out of the 300. Out of the 50 that they've done as of now, 20 are operational.
Some of the fisherfolk, though are happy about the new development, want a constant supply of the Premix fuel. The automation process entails the registration of canoes, with fishermen given cards to be used for the Premix purchase.
The economic situation is impacting on the daily earnings of head porters, popularly known as Kayayi. Head porters at Old Fadama and Agbogbloshe in Accra now make less than 10 cedis a day from the previous 60 cedis. Peter Kwawadato has been following the situation in Accra's biggest food market and has come through with the following report. The issue of rural-urban migration is a multifaceted challenge encompassing economic, educational and gender disparities. Some individuals unable to pursue their education due to financial constraints make the journey to urban centers in search of employment opportunities. They often find themselves in precarious and potentially dangerous situations. A lot of young girls and women from the northern part of Ghana migrate to the south to engage in head porting, popularly called Kayayi. They can be found in major markets and trading centers with their pans hoping to catch the eyes of buyers and shoppers to assist them in carting their goods for a fee. A 27-year-old, Hawa Zakaria, is one of those who recently embarked on the journey to Accra seeking better prospects.
We don't find it easy when we came out for a work like this. Some people will get 10 cedis or 20 cedis to go home and eat, but some people will not even get at all.
She longed to return to Tamale but felt trapped due to her lack of funds to make the return journey.
Our coming here is not good at all. As I seen this myself, I am planning that I will get something to be doing enough when I get back home so that I will not come to Accra again. If everybody is to be like me, I would advise everybody that we should stop coming to Accra.
Hawa and her fellow travelers had spent the entire morning searching various markets, including Agbogbloshe and Makola number 2 in Accra. Their earnings were meager.
Like today, you've gotten something and you send it home. So tomorrow, if you come out and you didn't get, you will go home and take the one that you reserved yesterday and use it on that day.
The highest any of them had made at the time was just 10 cedis.
What to miss obi no makrano na ko duru abisika na ono no edia no no mu di atem na ono wo ko ntino sika na kwampo benya ko duru fie kwampo no entimi nto eduane yeso sika dada na kwa kwate na wato eduane.
Ruhia Ziblim shared 5 cedis worth of wache with her baby, and that was all she made for the day.
We are kwasa yanye dumane menya sika 5 seron kwa.
Some of these head porters and their children go to bed on empty stomachs, highlighting the dire circumstances faced by these vulnerable individuals.
And if we come into this situation, means if we don't put proper interventions, then where is Ghana going? And where will be Ghana's future?
Programs focusing on education, skill development and social welfare could play a pivotal role in providing these young girls and women with more sustainable and secure employment opportunities, offering them a chance at a brighter future.
We have sports news coming up shortly. Don't go away.
When you're little, days are extremely busy. Work, traffic jams, meetings, conference calls. Luckily, our mom is here to take good care of us with day-by-day baby and day-by-day kids, and their naturally active ingredients. Our skin is hydrated, soothed, and protected all day long. Yes, hello?
Hey there, do you want to win a brand new iPhone, a smart TV, a super cool refrigerator, free data, and many more spectacular weekly prizes? Or perhaps you just want to jet off to the dazzling city of Dubai? Then get ready for the Indomie Pack of Fortune promo. Here's a scoop, just buy any pack of Indomie and find your unique code inside. Log on to www.indomieghana.com or dial *844*44# to participate and unleash amazing gifts right on your fingertips. Remember, the more you buy, the higher your chances of winning an all-expenses paid journey to the vibrant city of Dubai. So hurry, grab your Indomie packs and win big with the Indomie Pack of Fortune promo. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie instant noodles taste great. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities of 1,000 cedis and upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID, no savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. Call Quick Credit today, 0302-200-390 or 059-692-0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Because now being friend this mama we say we are national lottery see and that we treasure kakaba says kabum say dey and onyankopon na chira chira they were afa to do.
Is brought to you by Bell Pack Tissues.
It's now time for sports news with Yao Ofosulabi, and Yao, our star boy is shining
today.
Yeah,
star boy is shining. Mohamed Kudus. Today he got a brace for West Ham United, and I mean, huge quality.
I think it's a lot of fun when you score at home in front of your fans. It kills them.
Really away they can beat you. Let's get into the sports news this evening here on News 360. My name is Yao Ofosulabi. Now, Mohamed Kudus scored twice to help West Ham United get back on track with a 3-0 victory over the Wolverhampton Wanderers at the London Stadium. A dominant Arsenal side also beat Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-0 at home, with second-half goals from Gabi Jesus and Kai Havertz as the North London side provisionally moved back to the top.
West Ham able to bring it away here with Paquetá. Kudus the man ahead of him. He's got Ward-Prowse in his eye. If he needs to, he doesn't. Brilliant. It's been an excellent start, and that is a supreme counter-attacking goal from a man right on top of his game. Zuma read it well. West Ham getting forward so quickly. Kudus in again, scores again. One back by Bowen. Great 1-2 between him and Paquetá. Jared Bowen. Oh, he squeezes it in past Bentley.
Saka with a corner kick. And it's been put in by Gabriel Jesus. Another set play goal this season for Arsenal. Odegaard. Nketiah. Here's Havertz. Havertz through on goal. Arsenal get their second. That should seal the deal. So many chances wasted.
Well, those were the highlights there. Brilliant goals there from Mohammed Kudus. Now, the 5th Juvenile Boxing Festival of the Besasaka Foundation was very spectacular. Our spectators were treated to some storming contests, and as the stars also of the future traded punches in their groupings for the competition. Now, there were 33 fights across one night as representatives from 15 boxing gyms went toe-to-toe with each other at the City Engineers baseball court in Jamestown.
This came and delivered well, while fans' favorite Mohamed Ablo from the Cassava Boxing Gymnasium used just 45 seconds in round 1 to announce his presence at the tournament. Juvenile sensation Najat Loku, who is the captain of Besisaka students, was awarded the overall best boxer of the night. The founder, James Norty, was impressed with the turnout.
This is actually to also conclude a 10-week boxification camp that we do. And right after this, we'll have to go into selection to figure out who we are going to award scholarship to. So I'm very proud. These kids have been training for a long time for this tournament. So I'm very proud of all of them.
Head coach of the Bronze Boxing Gym, Carl Loku, believes Ghana has a bright future in these young boxers.
Through Besisaka, we believe that some few years to come, the number of boxers that we are having in Ghana will go up very, very high. Because when you go to the gyms, you see a lot of kids standing there, those who are begging for them to join the gym, those who are in the gym already. By doing that, it gives most of them some kind of leverage.
Besisaka continues to craft the next generation of leaders in Bukum through their Boxification project, which aims to nurture the next boxing champion to win laurels for Ghana in the future. Besisaka, in partnership with Delegates AS Pink Elephant, are to award 17 boys and girls with scholarships including full academic support, elite boxing training, and leadership development. The team is looking forward to adding 3 students for the next academic year in 2024.
Right, so those were highlights there from the Besisaka Foundation's competition. Now, Ghana's Sena Agbeko faced Cuban-based and Cuban-born, Minneapolis-based David Morrell Jr. in a showdown of the WBA regular super middleweight championship, only to be defeated in round 2. The fight marked the final event of Showtime's nearly 4-decade-long exceptional boxing coverage.
Sena appeared composed in the opening round, but found himself cornered by a series of hard-hitting hooks and uppercut from Morrell in the second. The relentless assault prompted the referee to call a stoppage. This loss marked the third in Agbeko's 29-fight career and his second stoppage. However, Sena remains resilient and determined, expressing his belief that he will regroup and come back even stronger. He also hinted at a potential move down to the 160 weight class for his next fight. David Morrell Jr.'s victory improves his professional record to a perfect 10-0, solidifying his status as a rising star in the world of boxing.
Commiserations there to Sena Agbeko, who lost out in that middleweight championship there. Hopefully he gets another shot at the world title. My name is Yao Fusulabi. That's all the sports this evening. Entertainment news will come after the break.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, GTP, Lifestyled, Vodafone, Further Together, and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Tonight in this segment, Ghanaian rapper Medical had a successful concert that came off at the La Palm Royal Beach on Saturday, December 16. Several musical talents, including Chatawale, J-Bad, Tulenke, Sistefia, among others, joined Medical for an unforgettable musical experience.
Award-winning Ghanaian rapper Medical gave audience value for money at his planning and plotting concert.
Power bank sounds why you're on the charger.
And I know it's okay as long as we stay together. Believe in yourself and
concerts, which came off at the La Palme Royal Beach on Saturday, December 16, had a star-studded artist lineup who joined Medical on stage for an unforgettable musical experience.
Shut this mother away. Sit out there in front of you. What's it gonna be? Come this way. What?
Artists included Shatawale J. Bad, Tulenke Kwamina MP, Sefia, among many others, thrilled patrons. Which events lined up for December in Ghana festivities in its full force. 3 Entertainments will bring you all the latest updates on TV and all our social media platforms.
All right, let's find out what's happening elsewhere around the world on the international front. And former South African President Jacob Zuma says he will not vote for the ruling African National Congress, the ANC, next year in the country's general elections. Jacob Zuma says he will instead support the newly formed Umkhonto Wesizwe party, named after the ANC's now defunct military wing. The ANC political party was at the forefront of the liberation movement to free South Africa of its racist apartheid system. The ANC has governed South Africa since the first post-apartheid election that placed political icon Nelson Mandela in office as president. The ANC is currently facing a number of challenges, with recent polls indicating that the ANC will likely win less than 50% of next year's votes, forcing it to form a coalition government to remain in power. All right, and that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for sharing your last hour with us. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
I am Portia Gabor. Up next is Mental.